This course on story graphics is the essence of what cartooning is all about. Communication, telling a story, an effective combination of words and pictures. Sometimes it's only pictures. That becomes a universal language that can be understood anywhere. Doesn't matter what style of drawing you use, it's how well you tell the story. Even a story as simple as the old slipping on a banana peel gag becomes clear when told in a language, a graphic language, that everyone can understand.
We here at Joe Kubert's World of Cartooning want to thank you for taking part in this course. Listen carefully to Joe's tips and instructions and apply these ideas to your own work. And now, here's Joe.
Hi. Welcome to my studio. This is where I work. This is the place I like being the most. I hope you enjoy drawing as much as I do. Yeah, I know sometimes it's tough. Sometimes the drawing doesn't come out precisely the way you'd like. But if you want to improve your drawing, I'm here to help you. You, however, have to make the effort. I'll be with you every step of the way, and we'll both watch your drawings improve as we go along. So, get your video and your workbook, set them up, and let's get started. Cartooning goes back hundreds of years. Even the great masters like Michelangelo did cartoons. That is, a series of illustrations that tell a story. The Egyptians used hieroglyphics to tell of their history. American Indians used petroglyphs, drawings on stone. Storytelling in picture form goes further back than that, to the time of the caveman. They decorated cave walls with ritual hunting scenes, animal stampedes. Those were our earliest cartoonists. To begin with, you'll need to set yourself up a workplace so that it's both comfortable and convenient. Set up your drawing surface, whether it's a table or a lapboard, so that it's at a 90-degree angle from your eyes. If it is not at this 90-degree angle, your drawings will seem distorted. If you don't have a drawing table or even a lapboard to start working with, use the carton that your lessons came with. Just set it up on your lap and draw on that. Remember now, keep your materials neat and near at hand. Keep your sketch paper close by so that should you need it, you've got it. Also, I keep all my references handy in files like this. Set up your VCR where it can be easily seen and where you can operate it, because you're going to need it to constantly refer back and forth between the workbook and the video. That's the way you're going to get the most out of this course. You'll find that there is a blank sheet of drawing paper inserted between each lesson page in your course book. In addition, you'll need plenty of plain, letter-sized bond and tracing paper for practice. Remember to do all your rough sketching on practice paper before you put your finished drawing on the 2-ply boards provided for your homework. As you finish each of the lessons in this course, you'll be sending them in to us, one at a time, for review, instructive criticism, and a lot of encouragement. Send in only the special homework page. because no other sketches or drawings will be reviewed. The homework page goes into the pre-addressed mailer, and it will be returned to you with our comments the same way. We will only review your work in sequence. That is, Lesson 1 must be completed and returned before we'll deal with Lesson 2. It's essential for you to review our comments and instructions on one lesson before you tackle the next. Okay, let's get to work. In preparing to do a graphic sequence, the story is where it all begins, the written word. Scripts may be written in several different ways. Some look like this: words, typed or handwritten, like so. Or they may be done in stick figure form, this way. But in either form, text, dialogue, and captions are included. First, read the story carefully. Try to get a picture in your mind of the drawing that you want to do. Then begin to break down the story into pages and panels, and take your time. Make plenty of preliminary sketches. We call them roughs or thumbnails. Work on creating and developing the characters. Get to really know them well. Sketch and sketch and sketch some more until you're really satisfied with the characters that you've developed. Now, gather good reference material for backgrounds, cars, clothing, real backgrounds, credible backgrounds, so that whatever appears in your story seems believable. As you plan your page, use plenty of variations in your panels, such as long shots, close-ups, medium shots, as well as changing angles and perspectives. Keep in mind the size relationship between objects and the spaces around them. And remember to include space for your dialogue balloons. You wouldn't want to crowd your panels and thereby cut off an arm or a leg or a head of one of your characters simply because you didn't plan your drawing carefully enough. When you're satisfied with your rough layouts, redraw them onto the 2-ply homework boards. Most important, do not rush into finish. You'll find it much easier to visualize your illustrations in a smaller format than if you immediately start to draw in the larger size. When you're illustrating a story, you have to imagine how the character walks, or runs, or sits, or stands, as well as the physical characteristics. Charlie Chaplin, for example, used a variety of props. The little tramp wore a derby hat. He sported a little black mustache, bushy hair, baggy pants, oversized high-top shoes, and a cane. Okay, Chaplin stood and walked in a certain way. Shoulders up with a jaunty, exaggerated step, he used his cane to enhance his funny walk. Make plenty of character sheets, that is, sketches of your character from all angles. Keep them near you at all times. Pin them to your table so you can refer to them. Make sure you haven't wandered from your original concept. The character himself almost dictates how he should be drawn. People tend to take on the physical traits that develop as a result of their profession or work. Look, this is a normally proportioned head. Now let's put a piece of tracing paper over it and give this guy the characteristics of a boxer. Notice the ridge over the eyes, the cauliflower nose, scarred lips, the square jaw, the marks of his profession. Now let's go down to the body. Normally proportioned, but look, the shoulders start to slope and broaden. The neck starts to get thick. Head tucked slightly into his upper torso. He stands well balanced, feet apart, in a slight crouch. These are the boxer's characteristics. But what would he look like if he was a dancer, or a violinist, or a weightlifter? Try drawing some of these examples on your own. Now let's concentrate on the superheroine. The comic book superwoman can play the part of a heroine or a villain. As always, we start with the normal female figure. As with her male counterpart, the anatomy on the superheroine is exaggerated. A pinched waist, buxom with rather broad shoulders, wide hips, long tapering legs. But don't let the anatomy become too exaggerated. Remember that over-exaggeration becomes not credible, and cartoon art must be believable. Once you're comfortable with your character's physical proportions, work out her costume on tracing paper placed over the drawing. In this way, you can keep the properly proportioned figure and refine your design for her costume change. Add to it. Erase and correct it. Until the drawing works for you without disturbing the drawing, the basic drawing underneath. These examples of artwork demonstrate a wide variety of styles. They're all professionally acceptable. They all begin with a solid foundation, a proper figure. We've all seen the simple cartoon drawings done by the great cartoonists, how simple they look. The drawing of a mouth or nose, eyes. It looks so easy, doesn't it? The good artist knows the proper construction of the features. Then they simplify it. Now, get some photographs of real people. Put a piece of tracing paper over it and simplify the drawing. Then put another piece of tracing paper over the first and simplify it even more. Now keep in mind that when you do a funny or a Bigfoot cartoon, a drawing doesn't have to be complicated to be humorous. Look. Distortions are more extreme in Bigfoot humor, but proportions still have to be pleasing to the eye. As a cartoonist, you should be able to see humor in serious situations and objects. Look at this, for instance. A conventional, normal automobile is not necessarily an amusing object, is it? But it could be funny if we exaggerate it here and here and bring it to life like this. Exaggerate. Get a picture in your mind, sketch loosely, and enjoy yourself. Find a photo and simplify the illustration. Try to exaggerate as much as you can. Then put another piece of tracing paper over the first and simplify it even more. Push the humor. Eventually, you will find the degree of simplification that pleases you the most. You can recognize emotions on different parts of the body as well as on a person's face. In fact, usually, emotions are displayed on every part of the body. Hands can reflect the person's thoughts and feelings, like these. Stop, or I'll get you, or help, or take that, or I mean what I say. Practice by drawing as many variations as you can of the various attitudes displayed by hands. Ah, perfect. Let's talk about reference material. Lots of people figure that comic books look so simple and easy that they're exaggerated anyhow, that the drawings don't have to look all that true or real. Well, the fact is that it's just the opposite. Because of their simplicity and exaggeration, cartoons have to look believable. Even a hat has character. especially if it's a cowboy's hat. Its use is to keep the sun out of the cowboy's eyes and rain off his face and head, like this. Look at this. It's interesting. I'm doing a story where the villain is using a knife as a weapon, a certain kind of knife. And there are so many kinds of knives, it's one that I can't make up. So I have to get the reference, a picture, or even better yet, the real thing. Often, getting an actual object to work from can be difficult or dangerous. For instance, there are many types of guns, but a .45 caliber, for instance, is specific. It doesn't look like a revolver or a Derringer or an automatic. A GI helmet of World War II is not an easy thing to draw. Here it is. And it sits on the head in a particular way. Even a humor character's helmet must sit on his head and not float awkwardly on top of it. When drawing any kind of headwear, make a habit of drawing through. Try to get as many angles as possible, full face, three-quarter, and rear. And notice how clothes are worn differently by people and reflect their personalities. Some like rolled up sleeves. Others wear baggy, loose-fitting trousers. Some wear ties, others don't. Women's clothing and styles vary a lot. They reflect the personality of those who wear them. Make sketches from life, and when you draw, make sure that you get a sense of a body under the clothing. Setting up a file system for your reference is as important as your table or your pencil. We call it a swipe file. To make it easier to find your reference material, set up as many categories as you want and put the folders in your box and file them in alphabetical order. Hats, helicopters, horses, and houses. You'll be amazed how much easier things are to find the next time you need them. Believe me, you'll always need them. I have a ton of references that I've collected over the years, and I use them all the time. Science fiction or sci-fi stories about the past and the future have always been a popular subject for comic books and cartoonists. Here you can stretch your imagination as far as you like, but in order to make science fiction believable, we need to have an understanding of the basics of scientific accomplishments and a knowledge of the past and present. Dinosaurs did exist. Their actual bones have been found and scientists have been able to reconstruct their bodies. But did man and these prehistoric creatures coexist? Who knows? But you as the cartoonist can create a world where they existed together. Draw them from every angle. The more you learn about them, the more you're able to draw these things properly. Again, museums are the best place to find out about them. Get a sense of their being, and don't forget to bring your sketchbooks. In most cases, robots, weird aliens, and beast-like beings have a human resemblance with which the audience can identify. If your monster or alien is to assume near human proportions, then you must begin with the normal human figure. Rough out your normal human figure. Perhaps you'll pose him in an intimidating attitude. Do many sketches, do many different rough drawings, then select the best parts of these sketches and combine them into the one that works for you. Of course, some creatures bear no relationship at all to humans. We've seen them in movies as well as comic books. In movies, they rely on special effects. We cartoonists can create these special effects on our own. No matter how far out or how we attempt to extend our imaginations to draw monsters from outer space or aliens from other planets, the drawings will still be composed of elements that already exist. The shark's teeth, the octopus-type arms, bull's horns. It's the disoriented placement of these parts that make the drawings look monstrous. See? It's amazing how light and shadow can change the mood and drama of a subject, isn't it? Shadows and suggested forms, allowing the imagination of the audience to create thoughts and images much more hideous than any artist can draw. Do many sketches of everyday objects that you see around you. Study and draw the details of the things you see, like shoes, furniture, the place where you work. Do them over and over again. It's an important habit for you to develop. Taking time to do detailed, realistic elements is extremely important so that the audience or reader can identify and recognize your illustrations. Here, look at this. This tool looks harmless, doesn't it? Not a bit scary. But if this tool suddenly became alive, a giant robot chasing our hero, that can be a scary picture. But the danger would not be as intense if the object was not real and believable, if the tool didn't really look like a tool. Yeah, even a harmless ant can take on horrific significance if your drawing is based on good research and reference. Now let's have some fun. Make up your own monsters. Look in the mirror. Use that mirror to learn to draw facial expressions. Copy what you see. Using yourself as a model is not only convenient, it's also inexpensive. Okay, now there's an example of a story told strictly with illustrations. No balloons or captions necessary. It shows the power of the cartoon form, and it's what we mean by story graphics. Well, that's about it for now. I hope you've enjoyed working with me as much as I have with you. And I'm sure it's helped you improve your work, perhaps even more than you realize. Keep this video and course book a part of your valuable tools. Continue going over and over the material, and you'll be surprised how much more you'll pick up by repeating the instructions and advice I've already given you, and by practicing. It really depends on your motivation as well as your own personal effort, so don't stop now. I hope you'll stay in touch with me and keep working hard so that someday you'll realize your ambition to become one of us, a cartoonist.
This course is devoted to just one aspect of comic book work. If you'd like to expand your knowledge in other areas of comic book creation, check the back of your workbook for a list of other courses in the series. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to working with you again.